Welcome back to the Synchronicity Podcast. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Megan.
And we're back for another lovely episode. Today's topic is a good one.
Isn't it always a good one?
Well, no, this one, because it's going to go along with the Instagram reel that Megan posted earlier today. We're going to explain it a little bit more, but I don't know. We just haven't we haven't really covered this topic yet. So,
I mean, yeah, not directly.
No.
So, we live in a world, which I don't think anybody really liked. I mean, I think women liked the reel, but men didn't because it didn't get that many views. But it was, just so you know, because this won't be posted the same day that the Instagram video was, but it's of a woman climbing up a rock wall with basically a man on her back. And then it says, dating in today's world. And it just shows how, women overfunction. And it's kind of the personification of what is happening in dating, because men are no longer leading in dating. Women are overfunctioning basically in every aspect of life. And then saying that men are screwed up. But we have talked about this before, where we call it inherited wealth syndrome. And it's basically what men are so spoiled that they have inherited the same problem that children that have a lot of money have, and it's inherited wealth, right? So women are doing everything, men don't have to do anything. They're very lazy and effeminate in a way. They don't know how to lead. Yeah, sure, they can text you all day and express their emotions, and they want closeness and all of these things, but they don't know how to be men and lead and be in a committed relationship. Masculine loves responsibility, and we have an epidemic right now of men that are running from responsibility and accountability. And, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you're looking at it, masculine follows feminine behaviors. So for those women that want to just blame men, well, everything a man does is for women. Very little of what women do is for men. So we have to look at how our own behavior changed, because masculine behavior is based off of feminine response to that behavior. So if, we're calling men toxic for approaching women and for asking them out and for holding the door open for them, then they're going to collapse and wait for women to basically do everything and overfunction. And then we wonder why, everything's so messed up when we've shamed men essentially for being men. And now we've got this complete, collapse of men, essentially.
Well, and I also think it's also, if we flip it, right? So women have this super high, insane expectation for men. We've talked on our past podcasts, he has to be making 6 figures, 6 feet tall, 6-inch... schlong.
It was the 666.
And so...
Did you just say schlong?
Yeah. Penis. So I don't offend anybody, schlong, because I love making creative names for penises. Anyways, the matter of also is that women... just because a man isn't making 6 figures yet doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad man or you can't date him. Men typically, especially when you start dating... and you're younger, men still are building. And so it's not going to be right off the bat they're making 6 figures. They also have to have a muse. They have something to have to provide for instead of just writing them off. Now, if he's a deadbeat and doesn't own anything, then obviously that's not a good situation. But the standard for women, I've heard many men talk about this of well, they won't even go out with me if I don't have, X, Y, and Z, or if I'm not going to buy them a Louis Vuitton purse the third date. So it's kind of this check yourselves too, ladies, but also stop doing everything for men, because we also have enabled them.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a double-edged sword there, because also, if a man's hot enough, then it doesn't matter how much money he's making, because there's really only about 1% to 2% of men that are having sex with all the women.
Yeah.
Everybody under an 8 attractive. And I've mentioned this before. Go watch The Science of Sex Appeal. This is about science. It's about the golden science. Ratio.
Don't get offended.
The more symmetrical you are, the more attractive you are, blah, blah. So these super symmetrical men are having sex with all of the women.
Yeah.
And because women are so women used to fall in love with their ears. Feminine falls in love with their ears. Mm-hmm. Masculine or male falls in love with their eyes. Men are very physical, right? It's like their eyeballs are their main sex organ. And so as women have shifted in this and said like, oh, well, if he's not a 10 hot or making a ton of money, they're worthless. Well, then also what do regular men, what do they even need ambition for? Because it's not. So we're kind of the driving force behind ambition in men.
Right.
And so if men are making under $100,000 a year, well, also that's because they're getting rewarded for not making any money. If they're attractive and you're having sex with a man that makes $40,000 a year, and he has no ambition to make more money or to provide or to take care of a family or to really be masculine, because what reward is there? So not that either one is correct or like wrong, but I'm just saying one actually causes the other. And basically, if you're an incel, if you don't know what that is, that's a man that's involuntarily celibate, or a woman for that matter. Just usually women aren't. So men have sex with who they can. Women have sex with who they want, essentially.
Yep.
Women get commitment from who they can, right? Men commit to who they want.
Yeah.
So, everything has a pro and con, a give and a take. And it depends on the scenario of who has the upper hand. But it's just quite interesting that actually the behavior of women of giving free sex without commitment, without money, without any kind of a give or an investment, men bond with what they invest in: time, money, energy, whatever, right? That's how men bond. Women bond when they have sex. So, we're really rewarding men in the best way possible, which is through sex, by nothing of what they're giving or doing. It's all about what men used to value women for, which is physical attraction. And that's detrimental to masculine. So, this is just science-based. I know people are going to get all like flipped out about it, but it's just a reality. And people need to start looking at this. We were actually just having a conversation with one of our friends in the coffee shop, and she was talking about how one of her male friends just took a sociology of women's rape on campus. And I was like, that's
a loaded class.
And then, but actually, like I just talked to one of my ex-boyfriends from when I was 20.
Yeah.
And he was 24, a little bit older than me, but he was just like, it was like an epiphany to me how different men think about sex than women do. He's like, I didn't really understand that until I got into my 30s. And I think it's very true. Mm-hmm. Men and women come at sex very opposite. Men can have casual sex. Women really aren't programmed to have casual sex. It's vasopressin versus oxytocin. And so they don't really understand until they have a frame of reference. So actually, that's probably not a bad class for young men to take, because they might conceptualize how women feel about sex way better than just talking to their friends. And they're young men. So it's like they get a breeze and their dick gets hard and they're like just basically humping anything that walks. Don't get offended, men, but that's just life. But I mean, it's almost like women have become like that too. We're not selective anymore in the same way, because culture has taught us that we can fuck like men. We should want to fuck like men and all of these things. And actually it's like women that domesticate men. But when we're not domesticated and we don't understand the value of sex, there's no way they're going to.
Well, we're all feral. We're all acting like feral wild animals right now.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a bunch of feral creatures. I'm like, ladies, get some class. Like, this shit is out of control. Out of control.
I mean, it was out of control in our generation. I remember like Nicole and I were in a sorority together, and some of the stuff that would go on was just like absolutely insane. And then you wonder why, like, I mean, we went to a frat formal and I remember
it was nuts.
I mean,
hold on, disclaimer. We were only in this sorority for a very, very short period of time, because Megan and I were both just like, what the fuck is happening? And like left.
Well, and it's funny because like I didn't even know what virtue was at that point in time.
Was wild.
But I remember like I wouldn't sleep in the same room as my date without like a friend being there, because I didn't know him well enough, because I wasn't going to just like have sex with somebody.
Yeah, but like what, or did
like
that guy,
sleep in the same bed as somebody that I didn't know.
What did that girl say? Like sucking dick is like shaking hands when you're in a sorority. And I was
Delta
like,
Zeta.
What the is happening here?
Well, then the two,
and that was like almost like 15 years ago.
It was 15 years ago.
Yeah, like can you imagine college campuses now? Whew. Terrifying.
And like this is not the point to shame anybody, but it's just like we need to rethink like the most intimate part of life being that casual about it. Like there's just something wrong with that. Right? Like there's nothing more intimate than the only thing you really own is your body. That's it. Like, everything else will leave you. The clothes, like, everything. Like, you are the only thing that you can control. Mm-hmm. And if you just care so little about yourself that you're having the most intimate thing possible with whoever gives you the time of day, or that Ella Langley song where it's like, I gave him a beer and told him to fuck me, essentially, that just won Song of the Year, like, that's telling me where cultural and society's at and where the feminine is. And actually, that's not even feminine, but she is female, so I will call her feminine.
I mean,
like,
all of her music
that's
is
the
about chasing men.
That's the representation of where we're at. And I just want women to rethink this, because we have been brainwashed into thinking that this is okay. And this has caused the dating world where men are living in their mom's basements. They have no ambition. They have no care about women. When women have no value, we are all fucked. Women carry all the value. We create life. When we don't have any value in a culture, in a society, within the world, we have collapsed. That is there. If women have value, nothing has value.
Well, and it's crazy because like our work has become counterculture, but it's actually how culturally, like, how life sustains, like, moving forward. Like, it's crazy to me how much unprogramming we do with our clients. Like, women come to us so brainwashed, and men too, but women come to us so brainwashed in, like, the man hate narrative of, and it's subconscious because that's what they were raised in. And then they're like, well, he won't do this and he won't do that. And I'm like, well, and we're like, whoa, hold up here. You don't even know how to communicate your feelings. You're not even, like, aware of, like, how much burden you're actually carrying in the relationship.
They're carrying everything.
Yeah. And it's like, you fix men's problems. You tell them how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, what to wear. I'm like, literally, these guys just, like, you're like the remote control to them. And, like, and then they're like, well, I'm not getting what I want. Well, of course you're not going to get what you want, because you've already programmed him into all of the things you're going to do for him.
I mean, men don't even know how to plan a date anymore.
No.
Like, if a man can't ask you out and can't plan a date, how in the fuck are you going to build a life with him? Like, I'm sorry. If you can't do something that simple. Also, women, if you're doing all of it, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you want to do everything? And the thing is like, a society without strong men is not a society at all, because there's no one to protect the women and children. Sorry, ladies, I hate to break it to you, but when you're pregnant, you're vulnerable. When you have a baby, you're vulnerable. You need somebody to help you so that the next generation survives.
Yes.
And we're sitting here saying that, oh, we're generalizing. I had a guy the other day be like, oh, a therapist said, I wish I'm going to give every guy chapstick that's actually a glue stick so they glue their mouth shut, because nothing that comes out of their mouth is relevant. What is wrong with that therapist? And also,
that person should not have a therapy degree.
But this is what is
Report
happening.
them to the board.
This is what is happening, and it's like, how can you generalize that all men are bad? What if a white male, because that tends to be what society has a problem with, is like, oh well, all women are whores and should be in the Handmaid's Tale. Everyone would freak out, right? But what is the difference between generalizing that all men are bad versus all women should stay at home and have men's babies and be suppressed? Like, I don't know why one narrative is okay and then the other isn't, when I don't really like either narrative of that, but just to go to the extreme, because that was such an extreme statement. But it's like, what is going on, guys?
Well, and also, like, it's crazy to me how many people come to us post therapy and they're like, well, what do you guys actually do? And we're like, I mean, at the base root of it, we unprogram you from all of the societal bullshit of like, hey, all it really requires you to do is understand what you want and communicate clearly. And most people cannot fucking do that.
No. Oh, nobody can.
Most people can't fucking do that. And excuse my language, but like people come into our programs and like work with us and they're like, well, he's doing this and he's doing that and da, 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 da. And then we're like, okay, but what is your responsibility for it? And they can't even take responsibility for themselves, which is number one thing in the relationship, because one person has to bring 100% and the other person has to bring 100%. So you guys can all you're together at 100%. And so it allows for both individuals to coexist within a relationship. But it also is, most people can't communicate. So it's all passive aggressive communication or manipulation. And we're seeing it severely in the dating world. well, he can't give me this and I can't, it's all his fault. He's doing everything wrong. But it's wild.
But that's what people do, and they can't take radical accountability, right?
Correct.
It's everybody else's fault, and it's victimhood mentality, which is programmed into us through culture, celebrities, you name it, right? It's you're being victimized, you're the victim, and when you repeat something enough into somebody's psyche, they're going to start believing it, when in fact, like, I'm sorry, if you're over the age of basically, I'll give you 12 or 13, you're not a victim anymore. Like, you then have a voice, you then have a say, and there is no such thing as victims, only volunteers. Unless you are physically handcuffed or physically restrained, you are not a victim. Like, you just don't know how to stand up for yourself. Like we tell women all the time, if you can't say ouch and no, you deserve what you get. If you don't know how to say those words, if you can't express and share your world with somebody else, that's your fault. And that's your work that needs to be done to learn how to say ouch and no and give somebody else good pain so they know how to treat you, versus just sitting there not saying anything and then playing the victim. That's on you.
Well, but also, we see it all the time, like, coming in and starting labeling men, right off the bat. It's like, he did this and that and this label and that label and
blemishing and bracing.
And it's like, okay, well, like, hold on, like, let's look at this. Where did this come from? And why is this a thing? Are we automatically attacking someone's character when we don't even understand or know them yet? So it's, we kind of tangented there for a second, but ladies, I mean, like, the main reason we did this podcast tonight or today, whatever time of day it is that stop doing everything for these men. Like, don't pay for things. Don't tell them what to do, how to do it, what to wear.
Well, don't pay for things until you're in a relationship. Yeah. There's also women that want men to pay for everything, and I don't necessarily agree with that either.
Correct. Like, Megan and I...
Courtship, men pay.
Right. We usually coach on, like, 3 dates he pays, and usually by the 4th date, you're treating him to coffee or ice cream. Like, there's also this, like, give and take world, because dating has changed over the years, and women, like, we have been liberated in some aspects of, like, we can make our own money and all of these things, right? We have rights, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, we shouldn't have these crazy, insane expectations for men without giving back in some aspects. And that can be always smaller than what he is giving us.
Right. Men give, women give back.
Yes.
Like, we give in return.
Right. And that could look like taking him to ice cream or a cup of coffee or cooking him dinner if you're comfortable. Little things.
Always give less.
Yeah. And it's also like, I always tell women, like, think about it as, like, feminine. Like, if you write him a little love note, like, that's giving back of, like, I appreciate you, or, like, texting him in the middle of the day, I appreciate you, like, I see you. Little things, but we never over give or, like, compete. Like, if he buys you a $200 dinner, you don't buy him a $250 dinner the next time. That's very emasculating, and it's competing. Yes.
Yeah. And it's also like, this is where negotiation comes in, because there are some men in the world that could not even fathom a woman paying, even if they are in a relationship. And that's totally fine too. But you need to communicate, like, what is going on with his world, what's going on with your world, what you're comfortable with, what he wants. Like, all of these things need to be talked about. And that's why communication is so key, right? It's like, a lot of times people just make assumptions, and they're going through the relationship, and then all of a sudden somebody's resentful because they've been paying for everything, but they never said anything. And, we also live in a world where things are extraordinarily expensive. Yeah. And so men can't afford maybe to take you out to dinner once a week. So you guys need to go shopping together and cook dinner together. Like, there's things, but it takes communication. What's going on, what's expected, I still stand by men during courtship pay.
Yes.
But once you are in an established relationship, the game changes. So, and also, like, going out and being wined and dined is not a relationship. Most of the time you're going to be home together, cooking, doing those things. It's going to be very domesticated. So these women that expect to be taken out all the time and, I always tell couples at least once a month, go out. But also, if you're people that just, and I'm like this, I like going out every once in a while, but, like, I actually really like being home and cooking together and being in our own space where I can, like, kiss him while he's cooking, or I'm cooking, I like more intimate settings. probably because also I'm a projector. So if I go out to dinner, then I'm dealing with everybody else's energy, not just my partner's.
You also have Venus and Taurus.
I have a Venus and Taurus too. So, but I'm also a double Aries with a Gemini moon, which is very social. But again, I don't really, especially in today's world with people having such irregulated nervous systems, it can be very hard for me to even just go to the grocery store because I'm like, holy moly, I just took on like everybody I came into contact with nervous system, and I'm learning better boundaries. But if human design projectors we don't have any guards against other people's energy. So, it can be very triggering when you have a world that is so dysregulated, to like be in that dysregulation for long periods of time. It really like messes with me. So I have to be very discerning about who I spend time with, or how much time I'm in public, or, if I am in public, like who those people are with, or if I'm, having to interact with a bunch of people that I have the entire next day off, because it is just so much energy for me. But, that's just also getting to know yourself.
That's knowing what you want, though. And it's also like, it's something that a lot of times, like when women first start working with us, we work on really getting, especially if they come in extremely dysregulated, which is most women.
Every woman.
It's getting really clear on what they actually want in life, because most people can't tell you what they want. So they're running around dating with all these insane assumptions and expectations, and they actually have no idea what they actually want. So they can't bring in the partner that they actually are looking for because they're unclear on who they are and what they want. And so, and then it becomes like they're falling into social norms. So then now we're back to they're carrying the weight of a relationship because they actually don't understand their own nervous system, and they're not clear on what they actually want and what they actually need within the relationship.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And that's also what's the problem. They're just going off their animal. It's like what you said earlier. Everybody's feral because the only thing they're going off of is the sexual instinct to have sex. There's no intention wrapped around it. Nobody has intention anymore. Everybody's just like face planting through life. They have no idea what's going on with them. They don't care what's going on with anybody else. It's just a very individual society where it's me, what can I get out of this? Not how do we create a better world together, and where am I at in this world, and how am I being of service? We're in a very narcissistic individual reality right now, and that is killing us as social creatures that need other people to survive, because everybody looks at a relationship as what can I get out of this, not is this a person I want to spend my life with, like whether you want kids or don't want kids. Like being in a relationship is usually more beneficial than not, because you're learning, you're growing, and also like finding a mate is a huge amount of energy. And you're wasting that potential energy on continuing to try to find new mates and new sexual partners and do all of these things. Yeah. You're wasting a ton of your life when you don't have one mate to focus on that supports you in your wants and needs in life. It's an exuberant amount of energy, and just like honestly wasted energy and wasted time. I mean, not that it's a waste, but it is with most people, because my point is they're not intentional. They don't even know what they want.
Yeah.
And so we're living in, I feel like we're in, what's that movie?
Which one?
Idiocracy.
Oh, I was going to say Hunger Games.
That too. That too, but I don't feel like people were going retarded in the Hunger Games.
They just didn't show.
No, they actually had survival skills.
That's true, because they kind of they were main for the main capital. I mean, like the overall vision of it, right? I think Idiocracy. If y'all haven't seen that movie tripped me out real hard, because it was literally giving electrolytes to plants.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I'm going to bring back the word retard, because it's not even people that have mental disabilities. Those people are in a different category. A retard is a person that has the mental capacity to do and be better, but chooses not to. That's a retard to me. Yeah. That's not even a mentally or physically impaired or handicapped person.
Yes.
It's a person that has capacity and chooses to stay where they're at and do nothing and be nothing and never expand and never be of service and never grow. That is a retarded person. And That's my 2 cents on that.
We literally had this conversation. I've had this conversation with Meg and another girlfriend, and then I had this exact conversation the other day with one of my other girlfriends who's currently in college, and she was telling me she went to school later. She's in her like early 40s, and her and I were talking about. I was asking her like, what is her experience of like being on campus? Because like I haven't been on a college campus in like almost 15 years, so I'm like, what is the experience as like an adult with a in her job and all of this stuff, because she works and goes to school. And she was like, I legitimately feel that I am surrounded by people that are retarded. Like they have so much capacity, but they like walk around identifying with all of these crazy medical, like she was telling me that when they introduced themselves at the beginning of the semester, it was like this crazy laundry list of all of these things they identify with. And then they have like emotional support animal.
Well, and see, I wouldn't call them a retard because they don't actually even realize that they're basically in the matrix. They haven't been freed yet. It's the people that know they have the capacity.
Okay, so they're not retarded. They're just sleeping. They're sleepies.
They've been programmed.
Okay, so I take that back.
They've been programmed. So a retard is somebody that knows better and doesn't do better.
So they're awake and they just choose not to.
Exactly.
Okay, so
those people have been programmed.
Yeah.
And have been brainwashed, and they have Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, that's fair.
And they have no idea what's actually going on in the world. Right? Because like we were programmed into super feminist culture, hyper independent women. We don't need a man, blah, blah, blah. It's the same narrative. Theirs is just more extreme.
Why do 26-year-olds take stuffed animals to classrooms?
Because it's an intimacy problem.
Got it.
So when you don't have a partner or sex or like any of those things that the human soul needs to feel fulfilled in life, you also remember that there's the three addictions and the 3 strokes. So that would be thing strokes. Right. So they're addicted to things to the point where they can't even leave their things at home. They have to bring them to class because they're so emotionally disturbed, and they don't trust nature because everyone's afraid of the sun, which is that I don't know what about that. And then won't even go into that. And then also people are totally petrified of other people because they can't let anybody have control over them because again they have intimacy and emotional problems.
It definitely makes sense.
So they've collapsed into material and things.
But then they don't also understand that they have control by being in an institute that is controlling them.
Brainwashing them.
Yeah, like quite literally, like, oh my gosh. But she was like telling me about all of these things and I was like, oh my God. Like, I can't even imagine being on a college campus right now, like at almost 40 years old.
Yeah,
I feel like I'd be traumatized.
But also, like, why is she there? You know, you gotta ask these questions. She's judging.
Well, no. She's not even, it wasn't even like judgment. She was just telling me like, she didn't understand it. Like, it was a conversation of like, she's like, I don't understand it, you know?
These are psych majors and they don't understand their own psyche.
I understand completely. We've talked about this, but you know, that is baseline of
why Megan,
the nuance of therapies.
Her professor to fuck off.
Yeah, Megan told her therapist or her professor to fuck off a few times.
My psychology professor.
But that's the thing is that this individual is going to school for psych.
Yeah.
And they don't actually even understand. So here is the base fundamentals of therapy that are being created in the world that are like going to go out in the world and help other people.
Future therapists that bring stuffies to class to emotionally regulate. Here we are.
I mean, I was literally sitting there like, oh my God.
Y'all that are still in traditional therapy, I hope your therapists don't have a stuffed animal underneath their office chair. To self-regulate. I just was like,
oh my God, this is what is like partially wrong with the world.
It's not like, what's partially wrong. That's openly what is wrong because when humans cannot have interdependent relationships, cannot have intimacy, cannot share their world, you get 2 types of people. You get schizophrenics that bring their stuffies to class with them, and you get psychopaths that murder, rape, steal, thieve. You get the opposite extremes. Narcissism is just 2 steps underneath, right? It's like complete psychopathy. So we're creating a world that is broken and shattered because nobody knows how to share their world. Nobody knows how to ask a girl out. Nobody knows how to create functional relationships.
Women don't know how to stop mothering men.
And mothering is the most dangerous feminine archetype.
It's crazy.
And like also they're mothering their stuffed animals by bringing them to class, or their stuffed animals mothering them.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, think about it. Why did you have a baby doll as a little girl? To practice your mothering skills.
Yeah.
you know, when you have stuffed animals, it's like before you had a dog, right? That you could actually take care of because you're an adult. You would take care of your stuffed animals. We'd pretend feed them, or like Furbies and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you think about the psychology of this, it's actually completely terrifying.
It is. It's really, and it's like you can see it progressively getting worse. Just like,
and those people,
it's progressively getting worse through the generations. Like, I mean, that's so crazy. Like, yeah, I mean, you can obviously. I mother my dog because she doesn't have thumbs, but she's
also a child. And that's what a dog is,
right? Like, it's wild.
But the only way people know how to relate is either controlling somebody, which is mothering,
right,
or fucking them. They don't actually know
how to
have anything like share their world. True intimacy is communication. It has nothing to do with sex. Intimacy is before sex,
right?
Sharing your world, and then you share your energy with somebody,
right?
But we have completely collapsed out of that, and we're in this state of just complete fucking chaos where we're either mothering something, which is basically women turning men. They're not even men, they're little boys. They stay little boys because women will not let them progress out of adolescence,
right? Because
we're terrified of men. Right.
But then this like goes, so like you pretty much just, you go from having a stuffed animal to like finding somebody in the world that like just is super codependent that you can just mother.
Yeah, but that's also pedophilia psychologically. So we wonder why pedophiles are on an absolute high right now. It's pedophilia.
No, I mean,
like if you want a little boy that doesn't know how to be a man, even if he's in a man's body, if he is psychologically a little boy,
aka he can't ask you out,
that's pedophilia.
Yeah. And if you're chasing him, that's weird. No, I totally get it.
And then we sit there and shame men who we'd never let their psyche go past being a child and wonder why they're attracted to children. You guys, like, this is all linked. We have to like literally step out of this trauma because that's what it's creating, and it is that drastic. Like I'm not underplaying this. I'm not over exaggerating. Like that is what is happening. There's psychological books written about it.
Yeah,
this
an
is
epidemic
terrifying.
Right now. Yeah.
Women are dating little boys.
Yeah, they're stuck in being mothered.
Trying to harm little girls and vice versa because of the trauma.
Yeah.
Because if you're psychologically stuck at being 11, you're going to be attracted to 11-year-olds. Like, this is not okay.
Right.
If you don't mature and your body does, like, we got issues. You're attracted to the same maturity level that you are.
Yeah, no.
So humans aren't growing up. So we're having serious issues. This is serious. So serious, guys.
Yeah, it's outside of the Instagram post, now that we have broke it down on a next level of psychology, now that we have either offended you, you've turned it off, you're not here yet, or you've stuck around, and the key of this entire podcast was, ladies, put the man down, stop mothering him, stop telling him how to do it, stop labeling him, step into your own power, love yourself more than you love a man, and like, let him lead. Let him lead.
Let him ask you out. You guys, you just like don't understand.
Also, just breathe. Patience. Like, if he doesn't ask you out right away, like, it's gonna be all right. Like, it's gonna be okay. Date more men. Date them all.
Also, if you're just so
don't sleep with them all.
Insecure that you need like that man or this man, or you need things to look a certain way, then that's also your work. Like, everybody just needs to stop projecting and looking outside themselves and look inside themselves and see like who they are, what they need to heal, take radical accountability for that, step into your healing journey, own your healing journey, and then pray to God that you meet somebody that also wants to do their own work and step in the same way. Because you guys, we're all responsible for the way the world is. Like, we can't even blame our parents anymore. We're all adults.
We're all over 13.
And it's time that we make the world what we want it to be and stop blaming other generations, even though they definitely had their part in it. But like, okay, where we're at now, what are we going to do about it?
Exactly.
And so if everybody steps in and does their work and inspires other people to step in and do theirs, we're not going to be in an incestuous, like, pedophilia, nasty society and culture where people like Epstein get away with what they're getting away with, and, you know, basically the entire government, and nobody's doing anything.
There's also go down that wormhole.
There's also not men in the world like fighting back for our children, protecting our children, and that's why those things are allowed to go on. And
It's true.
I mean, just start looking, like open your eyes and look at the world, you know, and if you can do something, like love yourself more, love the people around you. You know, I do believe that we can heal, but it's
Absolutely.
going to take everybody taking radical accountability for their lives and stepping out of victimhood.
Well, and ladies, like, stop. I would say, like, number one thing is to stop fixing a man's problems. If he comes to you and is like asking you to reflect something, by all means. But if he's not asking, shut your mouth. Don't fix his problems. He will figure it out. I promise his brain is 100% capable of fixing the problem. He's just so used to you fixing his problem. And so that's now why he like presents them all to you, because you used to fix them all for him.
Yeah, and just be patient with people and let them be who they are. Don't give people autonomy and just let them be. I think that's been the greatest lesson for me is that like I don't always know best for other people. Like I can make that decision for me, but I don't get to make it for somebody else. And you have to grab people autonomy to make mistakes and be okay that you make mistakes and that other people make mistakes, and don't get angry and mad about it and punish them and manipulate them. You just go, I see you. I hear you. Ouch. No, like that didn't feel good. You express yourself, but you don't try to control other people. And,
Exactly.
we could do a whole podcast on that too, but
For sure.
should probably stop our tangent for
Right.
the day.
Well, if you all want to head over to our Instagram, you can see the post that Megan wrote. It's very easy. It's a woman, literally a guy on her back going up a rock climbing
Don't be that lady.
wall, a rock climbing wall.
And men, don't be that dude. That's just weird.
Yeah, but it has some great points underneath it, and more than what we talked about, most of them. But there's a few more on the post if you guys want to check it out. But if you're interested in working with us, our new website will be up tomorrow. So synchronicity222.com. Check it out. Apply. Come hang out with us. We have a women's group, and then of course always like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends about us. And until next week, bye.